I figured it all out. I know what the 144,000 is. Do you understand? I know how they doing the spells on y'all. I know how God's chosen people are marked. Do y'all understand? For your soul, hear this out. The 144,000 is a frequency. After studying the information on the chakras and the hidden messages in the Bible, I realized that we are supposed to learn the knowledge of both of them side by side. I came to this because it says that Jacob wrestled with God at a place called Peniel. This is a chakra reference. Then later I saw a verse that said if a man's eye be single, then his whole body will be filled with light. This is another chakra reference. When Yeshua, aka Jesus, needed to defeat the flesh, keep his energy high in an evil world, he went and fasted. When Moses needed to talk to God, he always fasted. Now I asked, what does fasting have to do with chakras? And I heard my soul say these are the 7 deadly sins we must overcome to activate the next level of your true form. And I began to unravel the spells they put on us through frequency and vibration, y'all. Certain color frequencies vibrate high, with the highest frequency colors being violet, indigo, and blue, and the lowest colors being red, orange, and yellow. This is how they're putting the spells on us, y'all. You could be listening to the most beautiful song ever and not know you are being stripped of your energy. So when you see an award show, a ceremony, a movie, or go to certain organizations, they can say all the nice things that everybody want to hear. But if you see the theme of the event or show or movie is based on colors that are red, orange, yellow, then you are under an all-out frequency attack, which is lowering your vibration away from the 144,000. Dealing with yellow, orange, and red, that is the lowest chakra of your existence. So when you see the Pope in red, and you see the red hat people in the red shoe club, these are all people who work in unclean energy because the colors they signify show what they are into. This is why all the low vibrational movies and videos are mainly red, yellow, and gloomy themes. It's taking your energy. You understand? We are supposed to reach the 144,000 frequency to communicate with the God by activating the temple that was made to house God, which is called your body. It says God's people will bear a mark on their forehead. That is the final chakra activation of the pineal gland, which will allow you to ascend. The 144,000 frequency is the dial tone frequency we need in order to escape this system. This is why the angels are trapped. They can't reach the frequency of 144,000 anymore because they have been cut off from God due to rebellion. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? To reach the 144,000 frequency mark on your forehead, aka the pineal, we have to overcome the 7 deadly sins that correspond with the 7 chakras of power. To activate communion with God, we must activate the God mind within the temple, which is our body. This is how you overcome each deadly sin to reach the place God has prepared for your energy to make it into heaven, which is a higher form of yourself. And it's going to take 7 days to build this internal temple through fasting, just like he did when he created the heavens and the earth in the Bible. With each day, you overcome the 7 deadly sins that block your 7 chakras, which are wrath, lust, gluttony, sloth, greed, envy, and pride. Day 1, overcome the red root chakra, which puts you at a frequency of 398 hertz. Day 2, overcome the orange chakra, the orange sacral chakra, which puts you at a frequency of 451 hertz. Day 3, overcome the yellow solar plexus chakra, which puts you at a frequency of 470 hertz. Day 4, overcome the green heart chakra, which puts you at a frequency of 512 hertz. Day 5, overcome the light blue throat chakra, which puts you at a frequency of 578 hertz. Day 6, overcome the dark blue indigo, third eye chakra, which puts you at a frequency of 624. On day 7, overcome the violet crown chakra. Your frequency will be at 679 up to 144,000 hertz. Y'all understand what I have figured out? On the night of the 7th day, your temple becomes a beacon for God. By overcoming the 7 deadly chakra blocking sins, which signify overcoming the demons that accompany each sin that we all have. And these are the entities you have to overcome before progressing to the next chakra. Satan is wrath. Asmodeus is lust. Beelzebub is gluttony. Leviathan is envy. Belphegor is sloth. Mammon is greed. Lucifer is pride. I'm telling y'all, these are the angels, aka the fallen angels, or the agents of this matrix. So if you want to ascend out of this matrix, aka get called out, aka get raptured, you got to tune your antenna to receive the signal from the Most High.
Does anyone feel weird that anti-Semitism can now get you deported? I couldn't think of anything that would feed Jewish conspiracy theories more than this. People are being put in detention for being anti-Semitic. Is that good? I'm a gay person. If someone said I hate gay people, I'd say, okay. Is that grounds for them to be deported? It feels a little bit like we're doing this at the behest of billionaire Israeli donors. No? Perhaps? I'm gonna be very honest with you. I don't know, not a ton of my friends are anti-Semitic. 65%. They go, don't you think Israel has too much influence in America? And I go, how dare you say it? You prove it. And then they start proving it, and I go, la, 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 la. So,
what is funny about threatening violence against a people who in the lifetime of my mother were gassed at a rate of 10,000 a day and turned into ash?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Первым советским правительством и членами его являлись примерно на 80-85% евреи.
Until today, Chabad owns Russia. Putin is a Chabadnik. I am a Zionist.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Who the hell are you?
As a queer person,
I don't know you.
as a Jewish person,
Why are you being so intrusive?
in the name of Jewish safety.
You're a stranger. Go away.
Those of us who have a platform must use our voices to ensure that speaking out is not outlawed altogether. Thank you.
And if anything happens to me after I bring up this subject, you know what it is.
It's all about mind control. And this is also why fashion is such an important statement. What are you saying when you wear your clothes? When you wear a thong in an AIDS epidemic society, what are you saying about your mentality? When you walk down the street in a suit and tie, Wall Street, I'm going down, I'm working at Wall Street. In a society where the deficit is so high that we might one day get to a point where we're working only to pay taxes and then we are subsidized through milk, bread, and cheese from the government. We can get there real quick. If this deficit is not dealt with, if welfare is not dealt with, if healthcare is not dealt with quickly, we can be subsidized. We can all be on a line waiting for milk and cheese, having worked all week. But all of our money is gone to the deficit.
So let me ask you a question about this brave new world of yours. When you've killed all the bad guys, and when it's all perfect and just and fair, when you have finally got it exactly the way you want it, what are you going to do with the people like you? The troublemakers. How are you going to protect your glorious revolution from the next one? This is a scale model of war. Every war ever fought right there in front of you. Because it's always the same. When you fire that first shot, no matter how right you feel, you have no idea who's going to die. You don't know whose children are going to scream and burn. How many hearts will be broken? How many lives shattered? How much blood will spill until everybody does what they were always going to have to do from the very beginning? Sit down and talk!
What's your point? My point is that, you know, we should fucking stop putting up with this bullshit and there should be fucking changes made. Like,
There are very obvious solutions. One is to arrest the traitors in the U.S. Congress and White House who have sworn to uphold the U.S. Constitution, and somehow the American people have sat by while the president has afforded himself the power to execute anyone, anywhere, anytime, for any American citizen to be detained without any due process of law, no representation, incognito, and theoretically, he could be condemned to death by a military tribunal in secret and executed. All of this operating under supposedly the United States Constitution. So all of these traitors need to be arrested first and foremost. When Netanyahu came to the Congress a couple years back, he received 29 standing ovations by these cowardly chicken hawk traitors. So the American patriots need to stand up and grab a pair and ultimately have some integrity and get rid of these traitors. Secondly, cut off all funding to Israel. Israel is a pariah state, a criminal state. It is committing active policies of genocide by the legal definition of the word according to Black's Law Dictionary. That country needs to be cut off right now. All of their attention needs to turn inward. Stop your little empire endeavors and full spectrum dominance and all of this sort of madness. Start taking care of your infrastructure back home. Start taking care of the American citizens who have worked their whole lives and now find themselves wondering how they're going to keep a roof over their head. All of that is very obvious and very sensible. Or America can continue to decline into an absolute total pariah state, hated and resented around the world, and maybe bring the whole world into World War III. We need some serious change in government, and that means getting rid of these traitors.
When you were 11, what did you think you would be doing now?
When I was 11, nobody remembered it was my birthday. And when I told my mum, she was so angry, she grabbed me by the ear and made my dad drive me to the toy shop and made me pick something to buy.
What did you pick?
I chose a toy phone. It's red.
Good choice.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you.
Bye.
And this? 2 Thessalonians 2. And the Antichrist will sit in the temple of God, and he will declare to the whole world that he is God.
The temple of God. Jerusalem, aren't you?
That's right.
Whoever this Antichrist guy is, he's gonna have one big war on his hands if he tries to rebuild this temple anytime soon.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. Make no mistake about it. It's written in the scriptures. He will rebuild the temple. I guarantee it.
But the Arabs are not going to just sit by and watch them build this thing.
They'll make peace with Israel.
Peace. In the Middle East.
Daniel 9, chapter 27. And he will confirm a covenant with the many for 7 years.
I would have done a legitimate investigation to find out what exactly happened on 9/11. How did they know who did this so quickly like they did Lee Harvey Oswald? how quick they knew Lee Harvey Oswald
who
killed
did it
Kennedy.
Because the people who did it were identified and we knew who they were.
Well, then why couldn't we have stopped them beforehand if they were identified and we knew who they were?
It was a failure of intelligence. Everyone's accepted
No, it
that.
wasn't. We knew before with Condoleezza Rice's memo on August 6th when it stated right in the memo, bin Laden to steal planes and run them into buildings. And more stuff is coming out now also, how much the Bush administration ignored the intelligence. It was almost like they ignored it because they wanted it to happen.
Oh, come on, Jesse.
No, not it'll come off. Wait a minute. Every war fought starts with a false flag operation.
You cannot say that any member of the Bush administration knew it was going to happen or wanted it to happen. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
Ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about your BBC. I have a tape of a BBC reporter broadcasting directly back to England talking about a third building has collapsed. World Trade Center Building 7 talks for 7 minutes. All the while she's talking, World Trade Center Building 7 is still standing right behind her. It didn't fall for another half hour. Yet they were doing a pre-broadcast back to England that, yes, it's true,
you need to
that
take a
this
break here.
building fell and it hadn't fallen
If
yet.
you're trying to make out the British Broadcasting Company, one of the most respected news organisations in the world, was inventing huge buildings falling over, you need to have a break, Jesse.
This is a fact, my friend.
Back with Jesse Ventura live along with our studio audience. We left a fairly heated debate about various theories that you have about 9/11 and so on. Let's move on to...
and the government only has a theory.
Right, well, the government has...
No, this is a theory. Their theory is 19 Islamic radicals armed with box cutters defeated our multi-billion-dollar air defense system, all while conspiring with a bearded guy in a cave in Afghanistan.
That is exactly what happened.
That's their theory.
No, that's not a theory, it's a fact.
That's their theory.
No, Jesse,
that's
it's
a fact.
That's what happened.
Really?
Yes, I'm
Were
sorry
you there?
to kill your conspiracy theories, but that is what happened.
Then why haven't anyone been brought up for trial?
Because they all
haven't
died.
given one shred of
They all
evidence in
died
a trial.
in case you missed the story.
Well, then
They
what do
all
we got
died.
all these guys in Gitmo for? And we got the supposed confessor to it, who they waterboarded 180 times to get the confession. Got news for you, Piers. If they waterboarded you 180 times, you'd confess to
You
it.
see, now you're...
I don't give a fuck. You know, it's like one of those things where I know that it's the right thing, and the fact that everybody else is scared to say it makes me, you know, feel obligated to be vocal about it.
Why do you think it's the right thing?
Because I know that they're a fucking parasite. Like, they provide the U.S. absolutely no value. They've done so many things that, you know, would constitute, you know, an act of war against us. I mean, USS Liberty, Lebanon Affair, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. But, you know, I think they knew about 9/11. I think they had JFK assassinated. The first thing that he wanted to do, you know, right before he died was, you know, make AIPAC a foreign entity, and not allow them to have nukes. And then all of a sudden this fucking guy's dead. And Jack Ruby, who is Jack Rubenstein, you know, I mean, it's just like, and then you just, I don't know, man, I can't ignore all the shit that they've done. They sold their secrets. Netanyahu lied to us about weapons of mass destruction. We fought all these fucking wars. My friends have died over there. Like, you know, and I just look at what they provided us with, and it's fucking, it's not nothing. It's like a negative, you know, it's not, even if they just didn't do jack shit, that would be, you know, bad, but they've actually done things to hurt us over and over and over again. So like this whole thing of they're our greatest ally is just complete fucking bullshit. And, you know, we send them $100 billion, then they send AIPAC $100 million, and then they distribute it to our politicians, and every politician is a little fucking AIPAC handler walking around and telling them what to fucking say and how to vote. And it's just like, it's about the fact that the government puts this in the school systems.
But why do they put it in the school systems?
Because they're controlling our fucking government.
Why do they control our government?
I don't know, because they assassinate presidents. They assassinated JFK because they have a Mossad operation at fucking Epstein Island. They get blackmailing our politicians. They give hundreds of millions of dollars via AIPAC. That's why they fucking control the country.
His brother.
Yeah, but that's why you asked the question. That's why they control the country.
But the point is.
But is that right? Like,
I'm not saying it's
just because they control it doesn't mean that it's like a pound on the back because they're doing it through fucking illegal means. So that's not my issue. My issue is our support of Israel, and my issue is like Israel's control over our government. That's my problem. It's not these fucking movies. That's like proliferator shit. My issue is that Israel is controlling our government. They have, Mossad operations to get dirt on our politicians. They're fucking bribing our politicians. That's my problem. Okay, and they're doing it to the U.S.'s detriment. They're going to drag us into one more fucking war where we have U.S. citizens dying for fucking Israel. Yeah. As a veteran, you should not want to fucking see that.
Not for
Iraq was a fucking joke, and we did that because that dumb fucking Netanyahu got in front of Congress, lied out of his ass, and said there was weapons of mass destruction when everybody fucking knew there was.
We said it as well, bro.
No.
It
came from him.
What's your point?
My point is that, we should fucking stop putting up with this bullshit, and there should be fucking changes made. Like our politicians are not running our country. We think that they are. They're just not. Why do we start the Fed? Why do we start the tax? Why do we get off the gold standard?
Yeah. I'm with all of it.
Can't you just trust me? No.
They give us half a life and think we won't fight for it.
Fuck you, Mr. Milchick.
Come on, Mark. Mark.
I think you're using me.
Your any name's Helene?
When they first found petroleum, because they were beginning to make motors and needed on axles of wheels on railroad trains and all that sort of thing, and remember trains started in the beginning of the 19th century, then oil went from just a lubricant to a fuel, and it made it valuable. And Rockefeller happened to be the smartest man in the business at the time, but he made most of his money, or much of it, off the transport of the petroleum as well as selling it. But one thing they realized was, because oil is putting a price on oil is like putting a price on a pail of water. No initial cost. It's in the ground, and in those days some of it almost what you'd call surface mining the oil. They didn't go down deep. So in order to get the price up, they hit on the idea that they would have to make it appear to be scarce. That after we take the next few barrels out, we're probably going to have to close as well, that kind of thing. But a very fortuitous event. In 1892, there was a convention in Geneva of scientists to determine what organic substances are. Well, the definition of organic is a substance with hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. And so it's usually a living substance, a tree. You analyze a dead tree, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, and grass, and so on, living things. Animals, we are hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. So at this Geneva Convention, Rockefeller took advantage of sending some scientists over who said, petroleum is hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. Therefore, it must be derived from the spoiling, the rotting of formerly living matter. And playing the game properly, when this scientific convention was over, they defined oil as a residue from formerly living matter. Well, that makes it a fossil fuel. I don't know why they decided to use the word fossil, but it says formerly living matter is fossil. Well, of course, today, and another thing we should know is that there has never been a fossil, a real fossil found below 16,000 feet. And you can't argue at 16,000 as a level line because someplace the ground sinks and so on. But 16 is what the scientists say, 16,000. We mine oil, or we drill for oil at 30,000, 33,000, 28,000 every day of the week. So right there, we rule it out that it isn't fossil fuel. It's called fossil fuel for the minds of the public to feel that it is an asset that is running out, being depleted. We talk about depletion allowance, which is a lot of, and actually, if you know the world's oil supply, you know that it is not going to run out for an awfully long time. It is the second most prevalent liquid on Earth.
Sorcery is pharmakia. That's the word that's here. Or it's what we get the word pharmaceutical. Do you realize that a great majority of Americans, I don't know the exact number now, but it used to be 30 or 40%, are on some form of a daily pharmaceutical. A daily pharmaceutical. Most people, once they get you on one, you know what they do next? They get you on another one, and another one, and another one. And next thing you know, you're like, I got three, was this one? Do I already take that one? I got to take two of these, and one of those, and one every other day. And the weird thing about it is, all of these drugs, which is what they are, have been tested in one person for one pill, but they give it to you at 5 different things, and then you're the experiment. And you're like, I don't know why, I don't know, I started taking this medicine, then I added that other one. Now something else is going wrong. Oh, go to the doctor, he'll come up with a surgery or a pill for you. Well, now this is kind of off-label. We wouldn't normally prescribe it for this, but I heard a story that it worked for somebody. Let's throw it down your throat and see what happens. I mean, this is gambling, it's sorcery, it's magic, it's witchcraft. The pills in America are destroying lives. Every one of us knows somebody that has destroyed their life because of an addiction to pills. Well, when the Antichrist comes on board and he says, hey, I'll pay for all of your prescriptions when you take my mark. Sounds like a good deal, doesn't it? Most of Americans will say, sign me up. Revelation 90 says something similar. Neither repented they of their murders, nor their sorceries, nor of their fornications, nor their thefts. Jeremiah 3, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She has gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. It's no wonder God judged, condemned, cursed the fig tree, and divorced Israel. They divorced him a long time ago. So we see this illustration, a woman sitting upon a scarlet-colored beast, that's Jerusalem or Israel, sitting on the Antichrist, that's her ride. It says, full of names of blasphemy is what it said in that verse. Those are false gods, anything but Jesus. The reference in Revelation 2, it says, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. When somebody says, I'm Israel, and you're like, no, you're not. You don't have Jesus Christ. By the way, the name Israel is a name for Jesus, just like Emmanuel. If my people, which are called by my name, it says in 2 Chronicles 7, and that name is Israel, and they were given God's name, and they rejected God, and they went after other gods. And he says, you're going to treat me like that? Well, God says it's blasphemy when they say they're Jews. It's blasphemy when they say they're Israel. Because according to the Bible, they're not. They're following Satan instead of Jesus. They have another Christ. Revelation 13, we see a similar thing where a beast riseth up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns upon his heads. The name of blasphemy. He'll have a blasphemous Antichrist name. In Revelation 17, we're still in verse 3. I'm breaking it down section by section. It says, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, in chapter 9, it tells us the 7 heads are 7 mountains. In verse number 9 of Revelation 17, if you see that, you can, what I like to, I circle it and draw a line in my Bible. I want to know the connections, right? In verse number 12, it tells us the 10 horns are the 10 kings. When we get to those verses in a minute, I'll expound on that. Next verse, look at Revelation 17, verse number 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet collar, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. I believe this is a reference to the tabernacle that they're going to establish. What's interesting, and I'll just point this out real quick, he says they're in purple and scarlet, but the tabernacle was purple, scarlet, and blue. In Exodus 26, it tells us about the tabernacle. He says there'll be 10 curtains of fine twined linen in blue and purple and scarlet. There are many other connections from this previous verse in verse 4. The golden cup, there's a lot of connections here I could show you, but I want to keep it as simple as possible tonight. And I know I'm probably already gone over the top on some of these references, but I want to give you all the proof out of the Bible that I can to help you. A third temple will sacrifice and worship to a false god instead of the Lord Jesus Christ. And the Hebrew Roots movement is going to go along with it. And the black Hebrew Israelites, they're going to go along with it. And the Seventh-day Adventists, they're going to go along with it because they're already keeping the Sabbath. And they believe they have to keep the commandments of God to be saved. And I believe a lot of the amillennialists will go along with it. And the postmillennialists, because they'll say, well, this is Jesus. He's come back to set up his kingdom. We just didn't understand it all. But most, and listen, not everybody that believes different on eschatology, but most of them are not saved. These Calvinists that follow what John Calvin is saying, and Origen and Augustine, these are not our church fathers. These were pagans. And they tried to spiritualize emphasize the reality of what the Bible says and make it all symbolic. And so when the Antichrist stands up and he gives them this symbolic speech, they'll say, oh, maybe he's the new guy. And they'll go right along with him because they don't have the Holy Spirit. Revelation 17, the next verse, verse 5. The mother of harlots and abominations, that title. Now, I just want to point out, it can't be Rome. It's too late in history for that. Most people think that it's Rome. What's interesting is the Catholic Church on their website says Mystery Babylon is Rome. But it's the old pagan Rome before we conquered it and Christianized it. That's what they say. The Protestants, which are not Christians, they are Catholics that reformed and came out of the Catholic Church protesting it. They say, oh, it is Rome and it's still Rome, is Mystery Babylon. So it's interesting that Rome says it's Rome, but Rome is wrong. The Bible's right. It can't be Rome. It's too late in history for that. Rome didn't start until hundreds of years after Christ. The next verse, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. If you guys haven't read the book of Acts lately to see how many times Christians were killed in Jerusalem, breaking in their house in the middle of the night and hailing them. I mean, they whipped them and beat them and burned them and abused them. They cut them asunder, it tells us in the book of Hebrews. They literally cut them up and persecuted them. They hated Jesus so much. In Revelation 18, I want to point this out. We'll get onto it next week, but it's going to prove the point that it cannot be Rome or any for that matter, any other city, America or New York. A lot of people have theories, Mecca. In Revelation 18:20, it says, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles. Let me back up one where he says, the blood of the saints, the martyrs of Jesus. Here it talks about the apostles. An apostle is somebody that saw Jesus Christ alive and resurrected, that he picked to be an apostle. There was more than 12. Paul was one such apostle. There are no apostles today. Somebody says, I'm an apostle. You say, you don't understand that term, because biblically, there is not any apostles today. So this is where apostles were killed. Had to be Jerusalem. Luke 13, Jesus speaking, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killeth the prophets. He goes on, behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Remember, we read on Sunday, we talked about Jesus left the house and he's coming back. He says, listen, your house, Jerusalem, has been cursed. Revelation 17, continuing in the next verse here. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell you thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carried her, which had the 7 heads and the 10 horns. So in Revelation 17, where we're at tonight, this is where the chapter shifts. The first 6 verses are what he sees in the vision that's symbolic, and then the angel is going to describe and interpret everything for him following this. Now, verse number 8, I'm going to break it up into multiple sections again to make it easy to understand. The beast that thou sawest was and is not. And that means he lives and seems to die. Now, if you guys were here when I did the message on, was it Revelation 13 about the Antichrist who received the wound by a head and did live, and I had the picture of Trump up there, and I said it could be a fake assassination attempt. I don't know if you guys remember me saying that, but how interesting whenever it's like, pew, and then, you know, whatever happened up there was staged. You guys understand that? Like, there are details that it was allowed to go on, and even that's being talked about in mainstream news right now. How many shooters were there? Who really knew about it? Was the guy, you know, how many shots did he fire? How did he get the weapon? How did all this, was it able to come together? What an amazing spectacle that we saw. Now, personally, I don't think Donald Trump's the Antichrist. I'll just be clear on that. There are a lot of people that do. They're like, wait a minute, he received a wound by the head and does live, like he fulfills some things. He seemed to convert to Judaism when he went over a few years ago and did the Wailing Wall and put on all that kind of stuff. But I still don't think it's him personally, all right? Next portion of the verse, part B. And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. So this is after the 1,000 years. And I'll show you the verses that help support that. The beast, remember the Antichrist, it seems he'll die, it seems he'll come back to life, seems he'll be filled with Satan himself, is what it seems like from what the Bible tells us. Yeah, Revelation 20, it tells us, bound him 1,000 years and cast him into the bottomless pit till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. So he goes down into the pit, and he actually comes back out of the pit. This will happen in the future after the 1,000 years. That same chapter, it says, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
Very well.
Rolling in the fellas, but you're too tame. I ain't for the same, but I appreciate the word pain. They were calling me about the noise, it's only two, man. I'm in the same rhythm, but the force of you change. I ain't for the waiting now. I bought a rally and I did it just to hit a sign. I say, really about to lose all this living now. I see a lot of trouble when I pull up and you leaving time. So you married to the game and never see the party down. I got a flight in the morning, I see what you've been trying to do, and I'm a mission to board. You think I
But
never pay
Ragnarok
attention,
has
but
already
I'm
begun.
I'm about to win a room, I know your goals and dreams out of board. I'm riding around my homies, love you, feeling like a milli. Moving silence, you can never hear me. If you got a problem when you see me.
But through Christ, God has made things come alive. All the dreams, all the visions.
But I think you can acknowledge that we as Christians have to honor the Jews. Do you believe that? In our scriptures, it does say that we should bless the Jews, that, you know, Genesis 12:3, bless those, I will bless those descendants that bless me. And we have a covenant with Israel. Do you share that as a Christian, that belief?
No. See, this is the problem with Christians like Charlie Kirk who have Israel fetishes. They don't understand true Christianity. So Charlie brings up Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. Let's check out what it says. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. Is God talking about Israel here? No. Let's go over to verse 1. It says, the Lord said to Abram. This verse was talking about at the time as Abraham is going on his journey. Anybody that blesses him will be blessed, and anybody that curses him will be cursed. Not talking about the state of Israel. Charlie says that it's a duty of Christians to bless the Jews because it says it in the scriptures. And if he actually read the Bible, he would know that Jesus cursed Israel. Here it is, Mark chapter 11, verse 12. Jesus curses the fig tree. When he reached it, found that nothing but leaves, because it was not the season of figs. And when he said to the tree, may no one ever eat fruit from you again. What is the fig tree? Jeremiah chapter 24, verse 3. And then the Lord asked me, what do you see, Jeremiah? Figs, I answered. Like these good figs, I regard those, the good exiles from Judah. So the fig tree represents Israel because the figs represent Jewish people. Jewish people come from Israel. Someone said Israel is the fig tree. Luke chapter 13. A man had a fig tree growing in his vineyard. When he went to go look for fruit on it, did not find any. So he said to the man who took care of the vineyard, for 3 years I've been coming to look for fruit in this fig tree and haven't found any. Cut it down. Jesus was baptized at 30, was crucified at 33. God came in the flesh, came to Israel, and they rejected him. And ultimately, they had him murdered. They had him crucified. Matthew chapter 27. And then they all answered, crucify him. And then they all answered, his blood is on us and on our children. Who was saying this? The people are saying this. Jesus cursed Israel because they rejected God who came in the flesh. As a matter of fact, what does the Bible say about people who deny God who came in the flesh? 1 John chapter 2, verse 22, and who is a liar? Anyone who says that Jesus is not the Christ. Anyone who denies the Father and the Son is an antichrist. 2 John chapter 1, verse 7, they deny that Jesus Christ came in real body. Such a person is a deceiver and an antichrist. It's not me saying it. It's the Bible saying it, Charlie. Christians are under no obligations to support Israel.
Same thing the Christians here in America. You have 50 million evangelists. They are very strong, right-wing, pro-Israel. More than Channel 14, by far. According to them, Israel should occupy the Temple Mount, kick the Arabs out of there, destroy the mosque with the golden what do you call it? Dome. And build the third temple. And we should help Israel to destroy Hamas. We should wipe out Hamas. We should destroy Gaza. We should destroy Lebanon. That's their opinion, these Christians. You may come and say, wow, they're better than the religious Jews I know. Look how they talk about God and the temple and Jerusalem belongs to Israel. We should move the embassy there. It's wonderful. There's only one problem. All of what they say is for one reason. They believe that after we will control Israel, JC, their fake Messiah, will show up. They're not doing it because they love us or because they love us in a war against them. They, in their believe that JC is the Messiah. And they read in the prophecy when the Messiah would come. And they know we are in the end of days. they will be very disappointed to see that the Mashiach for sure is not JC. Hashem organized it that this fake belief that they have in their fake belief, religion called Christianity, helping us. That's the reason United States is with Israel for 50, 60 years already. If there would not be Christianity, all from Christian ideology.
The Matrix is a system, Neil. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
This is from the New Age magazine. It says, "I am proud to be a Mason," and has a picture of a rabbi on the very front cover. Because Jews today are at the forefront in international Freemasonry. And listen to me very closely, my friends. There is a Grand Lodge of the State of Israel. There is a lodge, a Masonic Lodge of Jerusalem. They meet secretly in Zedekiah's cave, deep under in the tunnels underneath Jerusalem today. And I proved that in our video, the Masonic Lodge over Jerusalem. Jews, Illuminati Jews now, not just everyday Jews, Illuminati Jews, the elite have controlled much of what happened in America, even to our very foundations. In this book, 10,000 Famous Freemasons, put out by the Masonic organization itself, is the story of a man named Haim Solomon. They say he is one of the 10,000 most famous Freemasons. And so, Haim Solomon was the man from the Rothschild dynasty who founded the American Revolution in the fact that he funded it. He gave it the money from the Rothschilds. Isn't that amazing to you, my friends? That America was founded with Jewish money from the super bankers?
You have a lot of Jewish friends. How did they react to the past few days? Larry David's a good friend. He's your shadchan. He's your matchmaker to Cheryl Hines, your wife. By the way, you were supposed to give him money. Did you give him like the Jewish in the Jewish community? If someone introduces you to your wife, you have to give him a matchmaking fee.
I did not. I've neglected that duty, but I will.
Well, I hope he's watching. He should come and claim it with interest.
Well, Larry wrote me a note saying, "You're the last person in the world that should ever be called an anti-Semite, but if you ever use the word Jew, you're dead." So that was his reaction.
If we see the full implementation of the Noahide laws in America, wouldn't that mean in a practical sense that people who quote certain passages of the Bible, especially in the New Testament, would be arrested and imprisoned in America?
Yes.
You would be killed for that.
Well,
you could be killed for it.
Could be, yes.
You said in 2017, and I quote, "Israel has title deed to Judea and Samaria," unquote. You did not mean it gave Israel the right to kick Palestinians off their lands in the West Bank. Am I right about that?
Senator, I've never indicated that was a part of that. I simply referenced the biblical mandate that goes all the way back to the time of Abraham, 3,500 years ago, and that's what I was referencing.
No, I understand you have that view, but I'm trying to understand the consequences of that view. So, in your view, if Israel were to annex the West Bank, what rights would Palestinians have? Because when I asked you that question yesterday, you focused on the right to work, economic opportunities. So my question today is,
why did you do it? Why did you tell such a big lie to so many people for so long?
It wasn't a lie. It was my imagination. And in my imagination, in my mind, I believed it. Even now, I believe it.
How can you say it wasn't a lie? It wasn't true, and you know it's not true.
Yes, it's not true. But in my imagination, it was true.
Rosenblatt says he made the story up to give people hope and to promote understanding about the Holocaust. But members of his own family say his real motivation was money.
So you were not motivated in any way by money?
No.
This is from your son. He said that he knew you were lying for years and he couldn't get you to stop. And here's his quote. It was always hurtful. My father is a man who I don't know. How do you respond to that?
I don't know. I can't respond to it. I don't know why he said it.
Herman and Roma Rosenblatt told their false story publicly for more than a decade, but it all fell apart about 6 weeks ago.
Why did your wife agree to go along with this? Did she ever express any reservation?
Because she loves me.
Would those Palestinian individuals in an annexed West Bank have the same legal and democratic rights as Israeli Jews living in the West Bank?
Annexation does not mean displacement of people.
No, I'm not asking about displacement right now. I'm asking if they remained there, would they have equal rights to Israeli Jews living on the West Bank?
There would be security. There would be opportunity.
That's not what I'm asking.
Okay.
You know that.
No, I'm
So I'm asking whether they would have equal legal rights, whether they would have the same legal rights as a Israeli Jew who settled on the West Bank living side by side. Would they have the same legal and political rights?
Senator, if you mean would they be able to live freely, they already do.
How about voting? You're suggesting that the West Bank become part of Israel. Are you suggesting that Palestinians living in the West Bank should have the right then to vote in elections in Israel?
Moi j'en ai plein que je subir ce putain de système tous les jours comme un connard. On est là, on vit dans des trous à rats comme des merdes et quoi? Qu'est-ce que tu fais quelque chose toi pour changer quelque chose? Alors moi je vais vous dire un truc parce que vous êtes mes amis, ok? Tu sais quoi? Moi si Abdelli il passe, je vais rétablir la balance et je te shooter un keuf.
We are not the victims. Sorry, we are the victims. We are not the aggressor. Sorry.
But I can tell you that we are not targeting anyone else in Gaza but civilians. Hamas is cynically, but rather terrorists, of course.
You sound like a Nazi.
Hitler.
Hi, Hitler.
Hi, Hitler.
Hi, Hitler.
Jews.
6 hours later.
Developing story in the West Bank. Jewish activists say that one of the Palestinian co-directors of an Oscar-winning film has been attacked by Israeli settlers and detained by the Israeli military. Marco Robles is live in the newsroom where we are getting the latest details. Mark?
Yeah, Ellen, his Oscar-winning documentary, No Other Land, chronicles the struggle to stop the Israeli military from demolishing Palestinian villages. Ironically, it appears that is exactly what happened to him. His name is Hamdan Bilal, seen in this photo from Oscar Sunday. Activists say he was beat up by Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank, then detained by the Israeli military. The attack targeted the filmmaker's Palestinian village in the Masafar Yada area. Bilal was reportedly left bleeding from the attack. As he was being treated in an ambulance, he was then detained by soldiers. His whereabouts are now unknown. His co-director spoke about the humanitarian crisis at the Oscars earlier this month.
Still resist as we call on the world to take serious actions to stop the injustice and to stop the ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people.
No Other Land was a collaboration between Israeli and Palestinian filmmakers. Fellow director on the project, Yuval Abraham, posted on X saying that Bilal had injuries to his stomach and head after being lynched by the settlers. He ended his post by saying, "No sign of him since." The Israeli military said it was looking into the episode, but otherwise has not commented.
What's your point?
What do you like about Jewish people?
Because there's no hope for me, right? My soul's fucked because I was ordered to kill someone and I did it. You know, it doesn't make me a psycho.
No, Barry, you're overreacting. We didn't say you were a psycho.
You all just said that! Am I wrong? Isn't that what you guys are saying? I'm a fucking psycho? It's exactly what you fucking said. It's really easy for you guys to sit here and weigh in on some shit that you don't know about. But it's fucking lame.
I know evil, Barry. And you're not evil. But this has to stop. All
All of it's got to stop. We just starting now.
2 years ago, the average cost of a house in this country was $215,000. Today, it's $400,000, and the interest rates you're going to pay on that house have gone from 1% to 7%. So you're paying 10 times as much for that house you were 2 years ago. I have 7 kids. They're all between 20, 35 years old. They should be moving into their own homes. I don't know any of them or any of their friends who are actually buying a home now. And one of the reasons for why did the price of housing go up? Well, one, because of the inflation, because we spent $8 trillion on wars and $16 trillion on COVID, which we didn't have. So they print money, which caused the price of everything to go up. More importantly, there's 3 giant corporations, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, which own, collectively, they own each other, so it's really one giant corporation. But they also own 89% of the S&P 500. They own everything. They've now decided to buy every single family home in America. So if they stay on the current trajectory, they will own 60% of the homes in this country, single family homes, by 2030. They literally are trying to buy everything. And the head of it, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, is on the board of that World Economic Forum, and what they've said, we want this great reset, which is you will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, they're on their way to making sure that we don't own anything. So you all probably have heard of people who are about to buy a home, and somebody comes in at the last minute with a cash offer and snatches it out of the market.
Right.
And it's usually an LLC with an ambiguous name. But if you trace that up, you'll find it's owned by BlackRock.
Wow.
And because they have a huge bank book, the cost of money and interest in them is tiny, which means they can outcompete your children. Your kids do not have a chance to buy that home because they can't outcompete BlackRock.
Trying to get Jews to apologize for killing Jesus.
I did not kill Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, your people did. I mean,
what are you doing in a Jewish market here talking to Jews this way?
Why do you talk like that? Why do all you guys talk like such victims? Like, that's what you sound like all the time.
Are you a racist?
Everybody, including that one kid right there.
Today you are a man.
Great. Can I drive?
No.
Can I vote?
No.
Can I drink?
No.
Can I have sex?
No.
Can I cash the checks?
Yes!
Mitzvah, have a bar mitzvah, collect the checks and reel up a girl, tell that you pay.
Are the ones who knowingly drove us down this pathway of doom.
They must have gone somewhere. The answer is obvious, my friends. It is the Jews.
Nope.
Covetous Jews who have taken all our money and hoarded it for themselves. Hidden all the cash in some secret Jew cave that they built, probably back in the early 60s.
Conspiracy theorizing that's become incredibly popular on the right these days. It was popular on the left, and now it's become increasingly popular on the right.
Okay, we don't give a crap. About your opinion and your reporting.
You kind of, let's just ask questions. We'll ask who really killed JFK? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And then you're like, well, do you have any evidence of the thing that you are presupposing? Well, no, I'm not making any accusations. I just know I don't believe the story that I'm being told. I know not to trust the authorities. You're like, well, that's fine, but do you have like any evidence? Like evidence, not just supposition. I said, well, you're part of it, aren't you? You're part of it. The reason that you're so defensive about all this is.
All right, guys, the JFK files have been cracked open. What does it mean? Well,
I don't care who killed JFK. I mean, I do, because it's really interesting. But I noticed that the calendar says 2025, and he was killed in 1963. And so my opinion about who killed JFK has about as much relevance as who killed William McKinley, or James Garfield, which is to say, not an enormous amount.
Well, what it means right now is that if you are a Jewish American citizen, It is really high time for you guys to understand that you are under no obligation to keep defending the state of Israel, okay?
I'm hopeful about Israel because my people, the Jewish people,
God fucking damn them to hell!
because my people, the Jewish people, emerge from the depths.
If this capital crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid, and I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel. That's fundamental.
I count 6 shots, nigga. I count 2 guns, nigga.
I hate Jews.
You do? Now, Beetle, you are such a loving man. Why would you hate the Jews?
You hate the Jews.
Why the Jews? What did they do to you?
I hate them.
Really?
Of course I hate them.
Who taught you to
Why?
hate the Jews? I mean, of all people, to hate the Jews.
I got my own mind to make it up.
But why do you hate the Jews?
Because I do.
Who taught you that? Well, I mean, what happened to you?
I've been knowing this for 7 years.
Really?
I've been knowing this.